Okay, so let's jump right into this. Seems like you're struggling with this question a lot of businesses are facing. How do I actually get started with AI? Like, I know it's important, but how do I use it to prepare my business for the future? And that's exactly what we're going to be tackling today. A practical roadmap for AI integration, soup to nuts. We'll figure out where to begin, how to do it efficiently, and probably most importantly, making sure those benefits actually outweigh the costs.
It's funny because a lot of the anxiety around AI integration comes from just not knowing where to even start.
So it's not just about like chasing the latest AI trends, it's about building that solid foundation.
Exactly. And like any good foundation, it starts with understanding what you're working with. So before you even think about AI, you need to get a complete picture of your data landscape. So think your CRM sales, claims, financial data, literally everything.
It's like taking inventory, right? Like before you can even organize a room.
Yeah, I like that analogy, but it's more than just like knowing what data exists, who owns it, and how accessible it is.
So right from the start, we're already thinking about data governance and security. Why is that so important at this early stage?
AI is only as good as the data that you feed it. Imagine building a predictive model to predict customer churn, but your customer data is full of errors or gaps. I mean, the insights you get from that would be completely useless or even worse, misleading. That's why establishing really clear data governance policies and security protocols right from the get-go is essential.
It's like baking a cake, right? If you use spoiled milk, the whole thing's ruined.
Exactly. Companies who invest in data governance early on see a significant reduction in errors, improve their compliance with regulations, and actually see a higher level of trust from their customers and partners.
So we've taken inventory of our data. We've got those governance and security protocols in place. What's the next step in building this AI-ready foundation?
Connecting the dots. All of that data that you've meticulously inventoried, it's probably scattered across all these different systems and departments. To actually unlock the true power of AI, you need to connect it all, building a data integration platform. Think of it like creating a central nervous system for your entire business.
I like that. A central nervous system that allows all the information to flow freely and efficiently between all the different parts of the organization.
And it's not just about connecting the dots. The sources highlight the need for a system that can handle the demands of real-time data processing. So we're talking about a system that can like ingest, process, and analyze massive amounts of data as it's being generated, not just historical reports.
So it's not just about connecting the data, it's about making sure those connections are robust enough to keep up with the speed of business.
Exactly. Companies who are using real-time data integration see huge improvements in their ability to respond to market changes, personalize customer experiences, and identify trends even before their competitors do.
Now, this is where things can get a little bit technical, right? We're talking about choosing the right integration platform, configuring it correctly, making sure it integrates with all of our existing systems.
Absolutely. But the key takeaway here is that you don't need to become like a tech expert overnight. There are tons of resources available that can guide you through this entire process. The sources highlight the importance of partnering with experienced vendors, consultants, or even fractional experts who can provide that technical expertise that you might need.
So it's about knowing when to leverage external expertise to supplement your internal capabilities.
Exactly. Think of it like hiring a contractor to help you remodel your house. You might have some DIY skills, but for the more complex tasks, it's probably best to bring in a professional.
Okay, so we've mapped our data landscape, we've established governance and security, and we've built our data integration platform. We're making great progress on this AI-ready foundation. What's next?
Now we get to the fun part, unleashing the power of AI. This is where we start building and deploying those AI agents that everyone's talking about, the tools that are going to help us unlock insights, automate tasks, and ultimately transform our business. But it's so important to approach this strategically. The sources really emphasize focusing on specific use cases that actually align with your business goals.
So not just jumping on the AI bandwagon, but really thinking about how AI can actually solve those specific business challenges that we have and help us achieve those strategic objectives.
Exactly. For example, if you're in sales, you might want to focus on developing an AI-powered lead scoring system that predicts which prospects are most likely to convert. Or if you're in risk management, you might want to build a predictive model that identifies potential fraud or security threats.
So we're not building AI for the sake of AI. We're building AI that solves real problems and delivers tangible value.
Exactly. And the sources actually highlight some pretty compelling stats on the impact of AI in different business functions. For example, in marketing, AI-powered personalization can increase conversion rates by up to 15%. And in customer service, AI-powered chatbots can handle up to 80% of those routine inquiries, which frees up your human agents to focus on those more complex issues.
Those are the kind of results that get those business leaders excited.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that AI isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. The sources really emphasize the need to tailor your AI strategy to your specific industry, your business model, and those unique challenges and opportunities that you face.
So it's not about just copying what everyone else is doing. It's about finding those AI solutions that are the right fit for your business.
Exactly. And that's where partnering with experienced AI professionals can be super valuable. They can help you identify the right use cases, choose the right technologies, and develop that customized AI strategy that aligns with your business goals.
It's like having a personal trainer for your AI journey. They can help you create a workout plan that's tailored to your specific needs and goals.
Yeah, I like that analogy. And just like with a personal trainer, it's so important to find an AI partner who you trust, who understands your business, and who's committed to helping you succeed.
Okay, so we've identified our use cases, we're working with the right partners, and we're starting to build those amazing AI agents. What's the next step in this AI integration journey?
Getting everyone on board. Building and deploying AI tools is one thing, but making sure that people actually use them effectively is a whole other challenge. The sources highlight the importance of change management. Introducing new technology, especially something as potentially disruptive as AI, can create resistance and anxiety among your employees.
So it's not just about the tech, it's about the people. We need to make sure that we're bringing our team along on this journey and making sure that they feel comfortable and confident using these new AI tools.
Exactly, and that requires a thoughtful and comprehensive approach to change management. The sources suggest that those effective change management strategies include things like clear communication, really comprehensive training programs, identifying change ambassadors within your organization, and most importantly, strong leadership buy-in.
So it's about creating a culture of transparency, collaboration, and continuous learning where everyone feels like they're actually a part of this process.
Exactly. And the sources offer some really great tips for addressing those common concerns and resistance to AI adoption. For example, it emphasizes the importance of framing AI not as a job killer, but as a job enhancer. AI can actually automate those repetitive, time-consuming tasks, and it can free up your employees to focus on that more strategic, creative, and fulfilling work.
So it's not about AI replacing humans. It's about AI augmenting those human capabilities and helping all of us work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And when you can successfully communicate that vision, you can turn resistance into excitement and create a team that's truly empowered by AI.
Okay, so we've built our AI agents, we've got our team on board, and everyone's excited about the future. What's next?
The journey doesn't end with deployment. The sources really stress that constant evolution is key. We need to create a culture of continuous improvement where we're constantly learning, adapting, and enhancing our AI systems based on feedback, new data, and emerging technologies.
So it's not a one-and-done project. It's an ongoing process of learning, refining, and optimizing our AI solutions.
Exactly. The sources introduce this concept of a continuous improvement loop, where user feedback actually drives those enhancements to our AI models and data integration processes. It's a cyclical process of plan, build, test, learn, repeat.
It's like a feedback loop, right? So the more we use the system, the smarter it gets.
Exactly. And to make this work, you need to foster a culture of innovation where everyone feels empowered to contribute their ideas for improvement, where experimentation is encouraged, and where learning from those mistakes is seen as a valuable part of the process.
So it's not just about the technology. It's about creating a culture that embraces change and continuous learning.
Absolutely. And that's where strong leadership is essential. Leaders need to set the tone, model the behaviors they want to see, and create an environment where people feel safe to experiment, take risks, and challenge the status quo.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about understanding our data landscape, building those AI agents, fostering a culture of continuous improvement. But maybe you're thinking this all sounds great, but is it really practical for my business?
That's a valid question, and the sources provide some really great advice for making all of this work, even if you're not a Fortune 500 company.
I'm intrigued. What are some of those key takeaways for making AI integration practical and accessible for businesses of all sizes?
One of the most important pieces of advice is to shift the conversation from cost to return on investment, or ROI. It's not about how much you spend on AI, it's about the value that you create. And let me tell you, the potential ROI here is huge.
Okay, so let's talk about that ROI.
Yeah.
What kind of benefits are we talking about?
We can actually look at it in 3 different time frames: immediate, medium term, and long term. In the immediate term, you can expect to see benefits like reducing that manual reporting time, improving your data accessibility, and getting some quick wins from basic insights that you can glean from your existing data.
So even in those early stages, we're already starting to see those tangible improvements.
Exactly. And then as we move into the medium term, those benefits start to compound. We see things like enhanced decision-making, more effective customer targeting, and streamlined processes. This translates into things like improved forecast accuracy, higher lead conversion rates, and significant reductions in process time.
And in the long term.
That's where the real magic happens. We start to see entirely new business opportunities emerge, a cultural transformation within the organization, and a sustainable competitive advantage that sets you apart from the pack.
So it's not just about keeping up with the Joneses. It's about becoming the Joneses that everyone else is trying to keep up with.
Exactly. You're not just reacting to market trends, you're setting the pace. You're innovating, you're creating new value, and you're attracting top talent who want to work in a data-driven, forward-thinking environment.
Okay, the potential benefits are clear, but what about the practicalities? Let's say I'm leading a small business with limited resources. How can I possibly afford all of this?
That's where the 2-2-2 framework that the source material talks about for getting started comes in. It's a brilliantly simple concept that emphasizes starting small, proving the concept, and then scaling up based on those early successes.
Tell me more about this framework. What does it actually involve?
You start with just 2 weeks of focused planning. Then you choose 2 data sources that you want to integrate initially. And finally, you focus on achieving 2 clear business outcomes. This allows you to test the waters, demonstrate the value of AI integration, and build momentum without breaking the bank.
So it's like dipping your toes in the pool before you dive headfirst.
Exactly. And this approach is all about minimizing that risk and maximizing those early wins. You're not making a massive upfront investment. You're starting small, learning as you go, and building confidence with each successful iteration.
Now, the source material also talks about starting with a lighthouse project.
Oh, that's a fantastic way to think about it. A lighthouse project is a small, well-defined initiative with clear business value that can be completed pretty quickly and with minimal resources.
So it's like a beacon that shows everyone the way forward, proving the concept and inspiring others to actually get on board.
Exactly. And what's so cool about a lighthouse project is that it's designed to deliver tangible results within a really short time frame. This allows you to demonstrate the value of AI integration to your stakeholders, secure that buy-in for future initiatives, and build momentum within the organization.
And once you have that initial success, it's like a snowball effect, right? So each win creates those resources for the next one.
Yeah.
And the momentum just keeps building.
Exactly. The source material actually calls this the momentum multiplier. Each small win frees up resources, so that could be time, money, personnel that can then be reinvested into the next improvement. It's a virtuous cycle that allows you to gradually scale up your AI integration efforts without overwhelming your team or your budget.
So we're starting small, building momentum and proving the value of AI integration step by step. But how do we actually manage this project alongside our existing workload? I mean, we're already busy enough as it is.
That's a valid concern. The source material offers some really practical advice for integrating this project into your day-to-day operations without having to disrupt everything.
Give me some examples. How can we make this manageable for a team that's already stretched thin?
One approach is what they call the ADA 2080 resource model. This model encourages you to leverage your existing resources as much as possible. So you start with 80% of the data that you already have. You commit just 20% of your team's time to the project initially, and you focus on solving 80% of one problem completely, rather than trying to tackle everything at once.
So it's about prioritizing, focusing, and being realistic about what you can actually achieve with the resources that you already have.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, not harder. And it's about recognizing that you don't need to have everything perfectly in place before you can actually start seeing those benefits from AI integration.
The source material also talks about leveraging those smart partnerships.
This is a fantastic way to extend your capabilities without having to build everything in-house. There's a ton of vendors, consultants, and fractional resources out there who can provide specialized expertise in specific areas of AI integration.
So if we need help with, say, data integration or AI model development, we can bring in experts to guide us through those specific stages of the project.
Exactly. And what's great about this approach is that it allows you to actually focus on your core competencies while leveraging that external expertise where it makes the most sense. It's a much more efficient and cost-effective way to accelerate your AI integration journey.
And those partnerships don't have to be these long-term commitments, right? We can bring in experts for just those specific tasks or stages of the project.
Absolutely. You can engage with vendors for short-term implementation projects, hire consultants for those specific technical challenges, or even bring in fractional data scientists or engineers to provide expertise just on an as-needed basis. The key is to choose partners who align with your vision and are committed to transferring knowledge to your internal team.
So it's about building internal capabilities while leveraging that external expertise strategically. Is a smart way to balance cost, speed, and knowledge transfer.
Exactly. And by carefully selecting your partners and structuring those engagements, you can make sure that you're not just getting the job done, but you're also building that internal expertise that's going to benefit your organization in the long run.
Okay, so we've got our framework. We're leveraging those partnerships. But how do we actually make this work within our existing team structure? Do we need to create a whole new department for AI integration?
Not necessarily. The source material actually outlines what they call the parallel tracks approach. This approach allows you to actually run the AI integration project alongside your existing business as usual operations without disrupting everything.
Okay, tell me more about this approach. How does it actually work in practice?
So the idea is to create multiple tracks that are running concurrently. You might have a small, dedicated integration task force, which could be like 2 or 3 people who are spending maybe like 20% of their time on the project.
So it's like a SWAT team that's really focused on driving the AI integration forward.
Exactly. And then you have an extended team, which would be a larger group of people who are contributing maybe just 1 or 2 hours per week. So this could include your subject matter experts from different departments, stakeholders who need to be kept informed, or anyone who can actually provide those valuable insights or feedback.
So it's about leveraging the collective intelligence of the entire organization without overloading any one individual or team.
Exactly. And another key aspect of this approach is to actually identify those business as usual tasks that could be automated early on in the project.
So we're actually freeing up time and resources by automating some of our existing processes.
Exactly. And as you start to see those early wins from automation, you can actually reinvest those freed up resources back into the AI integration project, creating a self-funding cycle that fuels further progress.
So it's like a virtuous cycle where each success actually creates the conditions for the next one.
Precisely. And by taking this kind of incremental parallel track approach, you can gradually build up those AI capabilities without disrupting those core operations or overwhelming your team.
So we're starting small, building momentum, leveraging those partnerships and running the project alongside our existing workload. This all sounds great in theory, but do you have any real-world examples of businesses that have successfully implemented this approach?
Absolutely. The source material highlights this fantastic example of a mid-sized insurance broker. They only have 50 employees and no dedicated data team. They started their AI integration journey with a simple goal to reduce the time they were spending manually combining data for client renewal quotes.
So they were looking for a way to improve their efficiency and free up their team's time for those higher value activities.
Exactly. And they took a really practical, incremental approach. They started by just connecting their CRM and policy management system, and they focused only on automating that renewal data for their top 20% of clients.
So they narrowed their scope down to a manageable size and focused on delivering value really quickly.
Exactly. And they didn't try to reinvent the wheel. They actually leveraged Microsoft Power Automate, which is a tool they were already familiar with, to automate that data integration process.
So they were resourceful and used the tools that they already had at their disposal.
Exactly. And they only dedicated one operations person who was working 25% of their time for 6 weeks to manage that initial implementation.
So it was a relatively small investment of time and resources.
Exactly. And the results were astounding. They immediately saved 12 hours per week across their renewal team. They freed up their staff for those higher value tasks, and they reduced their renewal processing time by 60%.
Those are some impressive gains.
Yeah.
Did they see any other benefits beyond those efficiency improvements?
As a matter of fact, they did. In the process of automating their data integration, they discovered that 15% of their renewals actually had incorrect coverage limits.
Wow.
This was a huge insight that allowed them to proactively correct those errors, improve their client service, and potentially avoid those significant financial losses down the line.
So they stumbled upon a really valuable insight that they wouldn't have even discovered without automating that data integration process.
Exactly. And this is a perfect example of how AI integration can actually deliver those unexpected benefits that go beyond the initial goals of the project.
What about the bottom line? Did this project have a positive impact on their financial performance?
Absolutely. As a direct result of their improved efficiency and client service, they saw a 7% increase in their renewal rate, which translated into an additional £120,000 in annual revenue.
Wow, so the project paid for itself many times over. It's a fantastic example of how even a small business with limited resources can achieve really significant results with AI integration.
Absolutely. And it highlights a key principle that runs throughout the source material. Digital transformation isn't about the size of your investment, it's about the clarity of your vision and the consistency of your execution. Even small steps taken consistently can lead to some remarkable destinations.
So you don't need a massive budget or a team of data scientists to get started. You just need a clear vision, a practical plan, and the commitment to take those first steps.
Exactly. And the source material actually provides a great starting point with their 30-day starter plan. This plan actually outlines a simple step-by-step process for getting your AI integration journey off the ground.
Tell me more about this starter plan. What are the key steps involved?
It's all about building momentum and achieving those early wins. In week 1, you're focusing on taking inventory of your existing data sources and identifying maybe 2 or 3 potential quick win projects.
So it's similar to that data audit that we talked about earlier, but with a more focused scope.
Exactly. In week 2, you select one of those quick win projects and map out the required data connections. So this involves identifying which systems need to talk to each other and what kind of data actually needs to be shared.
So we're starting to build our data superhighway.
Exactly. In week 3, you actually implement that minimal viable integration, and you build a simple dashboard or tool that demonstrates the value of that integration. So this could be something as simple as a dashboard that shows your real-time sales data, or a tool that automates a really basic reporting task.
So we're proving the concept and delivering the tangible value really quickly.
Exactly. And finally, in week 4, you actually test that integration with your users, document the benefits that you've achieved, and plan your next iteration.
So it's a cyclical process of plan, build, test, learn, and repeat. It's about embracing continuous improvement as a core principle of our AI integration journey.
Exactly. And the beauty of this approach is that it allows you to continuously learn, adapt, and improve those AI integration efforts based on that real-world feedback and data.
And what kind of resources are actually required to implement this 30-day starter plan?
What's so great about this plan is that it's designed to be very resource light. You essentially just need one project coordinator who might dedicate like 20% of their time to the project and 2 or 3 subject matter experts who might contribute 10% of their time each.
So it's something that most businesses can realistically achieve without having to hire a whole new team or make a massive investment.
Exactly. It's about starting where you are with what you have and gradually building up those AI capabilities over time. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
And as we've seen from that example with the insurance broker, those small steps can lead to some pretty remarkable results.
Absolutely. And those results can be truly transformative for your business. The source material talks about how AI integration can actually give your business superpowers. It's about becoming more agile, more efficient, more customer-centric, and ultimately more competitive in an increasingly data-driven world.
So it's not just about technology, it's about unlocking the true potential of your business.
Exactly. It's about empowering your people with the insights that they need to make better decisions, identify new opportunities, and create more value for your customers.
It sounds like AI integration is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity for any business that wants to actually thrive in the 21st century.
I couldn't agree more. The future belongs to those who embrace data and AI. The question is, are you ready to join the revolution?
This has been incredibly helpful in laying out a roadmap for AI integration.
Yeah.
Now, how does this all connect to the idea of future-proofing our business?
That's where things get really interesting. The source material talks about how AI integration isn't just about keeping up with the present. It's about proactively preparing your business for whatever the future throws your way. They call it future-proofing.
Future-proofing. I love that.
Hmm.
But what does that actually look like in a practical sense?
Imagine a future where your competitors are using AI to personalize customer offers in real time or predict supply chain disruptions before they even happen. Where do you stand if your business is stuck in the slow lane, relying on manual processes and gut feelings?
Sounds like we'd be left in the dust.
Exactly.
Right.
Future-proofing means investing in AI today to not only survive, but thrive in that future landscape. The source material points to this concept of radical process and growth opportunity identification as a key aspect of this.
Unpack that for me. What does radical process and growth opportunity identification even mean?
Remember how we talked about connecting all your data sources? Well, once you can see the big picture of your business through your data, you can start to spot areas that are ripe for radical improvement. AI can then help you eliminate waste, streamline workflows, and ultimately uncover entirely new growth opportunities that you might have otherwise missed.
It's like putting on X-ray vision goggles for your business. You can suddenly see things that were hidden before.
I love that visual. The source material has a really compelling example of a retail company that used AI to analyze customer purchase data, and they discovered this hidden pattern. Turns out customers who bought a specific type of shoe were also highly likely to purchase a particular accessory a few weeks later. By using AI to identify this pattern, they could proactively recommend that accessory to those shoe buyers, and it resulted in a significant sales increase.
So it went from reactive to proactive.
Yeah.
That's a powerful shift. But all this talk about future-proofing superpowers and radical change, it can make AI seem a bit intimidating, right?
That's why the source material actually includes this really engaging TED Talk-style presentation. It's all about making AI less scary and more inspiring, highlighting the very real benefits it can bring to any business, regardless of size.
Yeah, I remember that presentation. It started by asking, what if you could see the invisible forces that are shaping your business right now? It really grabbed my attention.
Exactly. It hooked us in by highlighting the challenges and opportunities that businesses are facing in this rapidly evolving world. And then it went on to paint this picture of a brighter future one, where businesses can harness the power of AI to achieve things that were once considered impossible.
It was a call to action urging us to embrace the future, not fear it.
Precisely. And I think one of the most valuable things the presentation did was to lay out a practical step-by-step path for getting there, that 6-step transformation journey we've been talking about. It showed that AI integration is an achievable goal, not some pie-in-the-sky concept that's just reserved for those big tech giants.
It really emphasized that any business can embark on this journey no matter how big or small.
Absolutely. And remember, those 6 steps aren't about rigidly adhering to a specific timeline. It's about the overall process. So starting with data discovery, then moving on to integration planning, pilot implementation, AI agent development, and finally, company-wide adoption and continuous improvement.
So set steps act as a guide, not a set of rules written in stone.
Exactly. The key is to adapt that journey to your own pace and unique circumstances. Now, if our listener is fired up and ready to take that first step, what are some concrete actions they can take right now to get started?
That's the question everyone's asking. The source material does offer a very practical 30-day starter plan. Maybe we can break that down for them.
It's all about those 4 simple steps we touched on earlier. Inventorying your data, mapping those data connections, implementing that minimal integration, and then finally testing and planning your next iteration. It's a cyclical process that emphasizes continuous learning and improvement.
So even if you're feeling overwhelmed, those 4 steps provide a manageable starting point.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you don't have to go it alone. Leverage those smart partnerships we talked about. Find vendors, consultants, or even those fractional experts who can guide you, share best practices, and help you avoid those common pitfalls.
Okay, all of this has been incredibly insightful and inspiring. But let's be realistic, there are potential downsides to AI integration, right? The source material doesn't seem to address that.
That's a really important point. While the source material focuses on those exciting possibilities, it's crucial to acknowledge that AI integration isn't a walk in the park. It's a complex undertaking with potential challenges.
So what are some of those potential challenges that we should be prepared for?
One common challenge is managing expectations. AI is not a magic wand that's instantly going to solve all of your problems. It takes time, effort, and resources to implement effectively. And sometimes, despite your best efforts, you might not see the results that you were hoping for.
So what can we do to manage those expectations and avoid disappointment?
Remember that principle of starting small and proving the concept. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. Instead, focus on achieving those small wins, demonstrating that tangible value and building confidence gradually. That way you can manage those expectations and create a culture of realistic optimism around AI.
Another potential challenge, and this is something we've heard from a lot of listeners, is the fear that AI will replace jobs.
That's a valid concern. However, the source material really emphasizes that AI is not about replacing humans. It's about augmenting our capabilities.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. Instead of viewing AI as a job killer, think of it as a job enhancer. AI can automate those repetitive, time-consuming tasks, and it can free up your employees to focus on that more strategic, creative, and fulfilling work.
So the key is to find the right balance between human and artificial intelligence.
Precisely. And that requires careful planning, thoughtful execution, and a commitment to upskilling your workforce. Invest in training programs that help your employees adapt to the changing demands of the workplace, acquire those new skills, and thrive in an AI-driven world.
So it's not just about implementing AI, it's about empowering your people to work alongside AI effectively.
Exactly. And when you can successfully integrate AI in a way that empowers your team, the results can be truly transformative.
Okay. I'm starting to see that AI integration is a multifaceted challenge. But with careful planning and execution, the potential rewards are huge. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that's often a stumbling block for a lot of businesses, convincing leadership to actually invest in AI. What if I believe in the value of AI, but my boss is hesitant? How do I make a compelling case for investing in this technology?
That's where your insights from this deep dive become your secret weapon. The source material actually provides some excellent strategies for pitching AI integration to leadership, even if they're skeptical.
I'm all ears. Give me those strategies.
The first strategy is to shift the focus from costs to returns. Business leaders are understandably concerned about the bottom line. So instead of dwelling on the upfront investment, highlight the return on investment or ROI you can achieve with AI.
So it's not about how much we spend, it's about the value that we create.
Exactly. And thankfully, there's plenty of data backing up the impressive ROI of AI integration. McKinsey research, for example, shows that companies that are integrating their data are making decisions 25% faster, and they're seeing 21% higher profits compared to their competitors.
Wow. Those are some numbers that are hard to ignore.
Exactly. And remember, ROI isn't just about cold, hard cash. It's also about increased efficiency, minimized risks, happier customers, and a stronger competitive edge. Whenever possible, quantify those benefits.
So instead of just saying AI will make us more efficient, I could say AI can automate this specific process, saving us X hours per week, which allows us to focus on this other high-value activity.
Exactly. That's far more compelling, and it really resonates with the business-minded audience. And here's a crucial point. Don't forget to emphasize the cost of doing nothing. Inaction is not neutral in today's fast-paced world.
Right. While we're debating whether to embrace AI, our competitors are likely already moving forward with their own AI initiatives.
Precisely. The longer you wait, the further behind you fall. Highlight the risk of being left behind in a market where data and AI are increasingly becoming table stakes for survival, let alone success.
Okay, so I've armed myself with the ROI data. I've painted a picture of the risks of inaction, but my boss is still hesitant. They think AI is too complex, too expensive, and too disruptive to our current operations. How do I tackle those concerns?
This is where that start small, prove the concept approach comes in handy. Remember that 2-2-2 framework. 2 weeks of planning, 2 data sources, 2 desired outcomes.
Yeah, so a bite-sized starting point that seems much less daunting.
Exactly. And it directly addresses those concerns that your boss has. You're not asking for a blank check or promising a complete overhaul overnight. You're proposing a small, well-defined pilot project that's designed to deliver tangible results quickly and with minimal disruption.
It's like a low-risk experiment that allows you to dip your toes into the AI waters without diving headfirst.
I love that analogy. By framing it as a pilot project, you're also setting the expectation that this is an iterative process, a journey of continuous learning and improvement. You're not pretending to have all the answers up front. You're suggesting a collaborative approach where you learn as you go and you adapt based on that real-world feedback.
So it's about managing expectations, taking small steps, and building confidence gradually.
Exactly. And those small wins can have a ripple effect. Each success frees up resources, generates excitement, and creates momentum for the next initiative. Eventually, those small steps can lead to a transformative shift for your entire organization.
So instead of overwhelming my boss with a grand sweeping vision of AI transformation, I should focus on a specific achievable goal that demonstrates the value of AI in a really tangible way.
You got it. The source material actually calls this a lighthouse project. It's like a beacon that illuminates the path forward, showing everyone what's possible and inspiring them to get on board.
That's a powerful image.
Yeah.
So what are the hallmarks of a successful lighthouse project?
It should address a real pain point or opportunity that resonates with your leadership team, demonstrating clear business value. It should be visible so its success can be easily communicated and celebrated throughout the entire organization.
So it's not happening in a silo. It's a showcase project that everyone can see and get excited about.
Exactly. And it should be achievable within a relatively short time frame, ideally 60 days or less. That way you can quickly demonstrate the value of AI and build that momentum for those future initiatives.
So it's about setting realistic goals and delivering those results fast.
Precisely. And whenever possible, choose a lighthouse project that leverages data you already have and addresses a problem that's already on your leadership team's radar.
So align the project with existing priorities and show how AI can be a really valuable tool for achieving those goals.
Exactly. And remember, the success of your lighthouse project depends on more than just the technology. You need to effectively communicate that success. Highlight the benefits, quantify those results, and share those wins with your team and your stakeholders.
So turn that initial spark of success into a wildfire of enthusiasm for AI across the entire organization.
Precisely. And once you have that momentum, the possibilities are limitless. You're not just implementing a project, you're building a culture of innovation where data and AI are seen as tools for growth, transformation, and competitive advantage.
The source material has a really great example of a company that started with a super simple goal: to save their sales team an hour a week by automating a report compilation task. It's amazing how that one small win turned into something much bigger.
Yeah, it's a perfect illustration of how even a small AI implementation can have this ripple effect. By freeing up that hour, the sales team could actually focus on those more strategic activities, leading to improved conversion rates, generating more revenue, and ultimately justifying further investment in AI.
It's like a domino effect, where one small win actually sets off a chain reaction of positive outcomes.
Exactly. And that's a key takeaway here. AI integration doesn't have to be an all-or-nothing proposition. You can start small, demonstrate value, and gradually scale up your efforts as you build that confidence in those resources.
So we don't need to boil the ocean. We can start with a single cup of tea and go from there.
I love that. And by taking this approach, you're not just implementing a technology, you're transforming your business, you're empowering your people, and you're creating a future where data and AI work together to unlock extraordinary possibilities. Yeah, it's been a really fantastic journey exploring all of this with you. It's amazing how much potential AI has to reshape the business landscape.
I know. I feel like I'm walking away with so many ideas and a totally renewed sense of excitement for what's actually possible. I bet our listeners feel the same way.
I hope so. You know, we've covered a lot of ground today. We started with those foundational steps like data audits and governance, and then we talked about these almost sci-fi sounding superpowers that AI can unlock for businesses.
Yeah, and we talked about those practical steps to getting started, those small wins like the 222 framework and lighthouse projects.
Yeah.
And we even discussed how to address those common concerns around costs and disruption.
Yeah, and we didn't shy away from the challenges either, managing expectations, addressing those fears around job displacement, and of course, making sure that AI is actually used responsibly.
It's been a really holistic deep dive. I feel like we've gone on a journey that's given us a realistic but optimistic view of AI integration.
Exactly. We started out kind of feeling overwhelmed by the sheer scale of AI, but now I think we both feel much more empowered with a clear roadmap and the tools to navigate this exciting new frontier.
Now, as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. The source material mentions this idea of AI, not as a replacement for human ingenuity, but almost as a catalyst for it.
That is so important. We often get really caught up in the technical side of AI, the algorithms, the data, the platforms. But we have to remember that at its core, AI is just a tool that amplifies human potential.
So it's about freeing us up from those mundane, repetitive tasks so we can focus our energy on things that truly need human creativity, problem solving, and that strategic thinking.
Imagine if your teams were no longer bogged down by data entry or report compilation. What if they could actually spend that time developing innovative new products, crafting those personalized customer experiences, and leading those strategic initiatives that actually move the needle?
That's the kind of world where businesses can truly thrive. It's a world where AI and human ingenuity are actually working together to create a future that's not just more efficient, but also more fulfilling and impactful.
Exactly. It's about seeing AI not as this scary threat, but as an incredible opportunity to unleash the best of what humanity has to offer.
So as you're embarking on this AI integration journey, remember that it's not just about the technology. It's about empowering your people. It's about fostering that culture of innovation. And ultimately, it's about creating a future where AI can help us all achieve truly extraordinary things.
It's been an absolute pleasure joining you on this deep dive. I hope our listeners are feeling inspired and ready to take those first steps into the exciting world of AI.
And we're so excited to be here to support you every step of the way. Remember all those incredible resources, those partners, and those supportive communities that are ready to help you succeed. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI. Until next time, may your business be filled with those amazing AI-powered superpowers.